Okay, Adele Pickvance, you're a really great player.
Well,
You've
thanks,
played
Dave.
in many situations. You're always relaxed. Why are you so relaxed? How did you first start to play live music? It doesn't seem like you're an indie person.
Okay. Well, I probably am relaxed because I feel more comfortable doing that than probably doing anything else like going to Coles and shopping. No, that's a joke. But I guess because I do feel like when I'm holding a bass guitar in my hand, I do feel that that is my comfort zone. And yeah.
But you started very young.
Yeah, I did. I started on the violin very young when I was a kid, and then four strings. It's always four strings, and then I moved to the bass. My dad bought me a bass. He said it fell off the back of a truck in England because he was playing gigs, and I got a bass. It was a Vox bass, and I learned to play listening to my favorite radio shows. And then I started playing, because Dad might need a fill-in bass player. So even though I wasn't plugged in, as long as I stood there, I could definitely, Dad got paid, so I could just stand there. But I pretended I was playing. So in a way, I was like following Dad's left hand, and it was always a left hand on my dad's keyboard because Dad's a great keyboardist, and I would follow his left hand on the keyboard, or because he's also used to, the jazz, the bass keys on the floor, the pedals, and he
How old were you then?
I was probably 14, 15.
And playing in licensed venues in the UK.
Pretending to, yeah. I just did it once or twice, mainly for photo shoots, because.
Right.
But when we went to the UK, when we came to Australia, my dad was, getting work as a muso, and that's when we really kind of, he was, if he needed a duo, I could just stand there next to him.
So he turned the volume up then.
He turned my volume down.
He actually plugged you in.
No. He still wasn't plugged in.
Wow.
We played the Pancake Manor. We used to play the Pancake Manor in Brisbane, which is still there. And I remember, Dad playing the keyboard, and I was like standing behind him. And I just stand there and pretend to play my big Vox bass. And it was like, wow. I just watched his left. Anyway, it's how I learned, watching his left hand, and he wasn't playing the pedals then because the pedals were all in the UK. That was the big keyboards.
But you couldn't hear yourself though. Adele.
No, I didn't want to. No, I was just there as a prop.
Okay.
But then I started to because Dad then was playing in more bands, and then I started to play bass, and I just, and then they needed a real bass player, and I was playing bass, and we just middle of the road kind of stuff, RSL stuff. That's when the RSL played really well. You get good money for the RSLs, know.
So he had a young family, and it was extra income.
Yeah, extra income by pulling the children into the gig world.
You got to be on stage, and you weren't frightened of being on stage.
No, it was just natural to see. Dad was always on stage, and I'd go to gigs and see Dad on stage, and the stage was something I walked on quite easily, and I didn't think anything of it. And I was playing the violin too, and I was orchestras and stuff in the UK. So, it's just like screechy sounds were okay. I never had a problem about being making a sound. It was just part of the vibe of the family, and part of life was okay to make a sound and be on stage. Yeah, I felt really comfortable on stage.
That's very unique. We'll come to your bands after that, but Clare Moore, you had an equally...
Your turn.
Okay. You had an equally unique introduction to performing live, playing in churches, and people might think playing in churches is a small kind of gathering. What was the size of the church you did your first performance in?
Well, these days they can be big, but back then it wasn't the case, especially to have a rock band. And it was probably about 1,000 people at the cathedral in Adelaide. So I was playing every other Sunday drums with Sister Janet at the cathedral.
Yeah, Sister
And
Janet.
it was very nerve-wracking. Had shocking stage fright.
You'll have to explain Sister Janet to
Oh,
Adele.
she had a hit single with the Lord's Prayer at the time in 1974 when I happened to be starting drums at that school. And she was a music teacher, so she would take over our sort of band rehearsals. And we had band rehearsals and things. We got out of doing sport, which was great. And and then I got to play gigs. So I was really interested in playing. I had already done probably 7 years of piano by then. And that was just...
That's a lot.
But
piano.
it was, the AMEB,
yeah,
all
that's
that
7
stuff.
years of that.
And then I got to do drums, and she got she got a lot of rock and jazz players to come in and teach us, drums, bass, electric guitar, stuff like that. So it was really good, and I got to play in a band with other people who were very good musicians. So it was very nice of them to play with me because I couldn't even set the kit up. But I did. It did help me get over stage fright.
Well,
Yeah.
what about being in a church? Because you would have been in a very Catholic family, and church was a imposing place full of authority and everything. What was that like, hitting the drums in that?
Yeah, it was pretty loud, and we were right next to the altar at the cathedral. It was a
That's
big
the Antichrist.
deal.
You be
Yeah.
Antichrist.
Yeah, maybe I'm going straight to hell. But yeah, it was so loud. That's right. And, but it was the audience. They were really into Jesus Christ Superstar, and it was it was all that scene
yes,
right
of
at that
course.
time
Yeah.
where Jesus was a hip dude apparently, and they had they had the
Charles
music to
Manson
go along
about
with it.
that.
I mean, we used to do some pretty weird songs in the set, I have to say. We used to do Sisters of Mercy, which is a Leonard Cohen song, probably not about nuns. And we did Stairway to Heaven. We did do Stairway to Heaven. Yeah, which has nothing to do with anything.
And she chose those.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Well, that was at the time. They were out then, and it was a current it was covers band.
Yeah.
In the cathedral. Yeah.
And what about your parents' pub where there was regular music happening?
Yeah, well, they had a cabaret night. Cabaret back then just meant a band playing and people dancing, as opposed to burlesque or anything.
Adele and her dad could have been there.
Oh yeah, it was.
Yeah.
It was great. They had a talent quest in the afternoon. Then they had the barbecue, and then the band would turn up.
Yeah.
And often the band was led by a guy who was an organist who was brilliant, absolutely brilliant player, could play anything. A lot of Latin stuff, which is why I play a lot of Latin beats. I like Latin. I love it.
Yeah.
And I could hang around there for a little while, but then I'd have to go to bed. But upstairs I could hear the band playing until they finished. So I'd just lie there in bed and listen to people playing Creedence and Delilah and
Beautiful.
Please Release Me.
Yes.
And Engelbert Humperdinck's greatest hits,
And
stuff like that.
You got to differentiate the different instruments. And
Yeah, well, I
doing.
did. I was really interested in bass and drums. And I remember vividly one night when a band set up and the bass player didn't turn up, and they got a person to play bass who was not a bass player.
Fucking hell. Ooh.
And I'm like,
Sorry.
and literally there's a person there in the band. I could hear it. I didn't actually see it, but there's a person there going, dum, 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 dum. Just anything for every song. I thought, okay, I get why that doesn't work.
Yeah.
That's shit, right?
Wow.
And I kind of, anyway, but I could really hear how the bass fitted with the kick drum and blah, blah, blah. And I was like lying there just sort of imagining like how bands work.
Yeah.
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 Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I do.
Adele, tell us how you moved out from playing with your dad. You know, when it's hard to find other musicians when you're young. How did you find people to play with?
Yeah, I think we moved to Australia, and I had always been in a, violin was my main instrument when I was in the UK, apart from doing the other stuff. But the violin, when I came to Australia, it was not an instrument that was wanted to be used. You know, I went to Sangate High, but it wasn't an interest. They weren't interested in the violin or anything like that. So I put it down, which was very sad for me. It was like a broken heart, you know, you lose your instrument.
No.
But I had the 4-string bass guitar.
Yeah.
So I still had the bass, the Vox bass. Hello, Donald. That's Donald's bottom. Shh, behave yourself, Donald. Sorry, that was a bit rude. This is Donald, and not by choice. It's something that came to me. Anyway, so what was the question? Oh, about going.
You got to the bass.
Yeah, so I think I just kind of. It was a way to be cool at school. I wasn't cool at school at Sangate High, so in a way, it was a way to, the boys were playing guitar, and it was a way for me to get into the cool. Like, I would arrive half an hour before school just so I could go to the boys, hall and play Deep Purple, and all the dun 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 dun, Jimi Hendrix, and then suddenly I was like in this group, and then suddenly the music teacher realized that, oh, this person can play, like it's like, let's play Grease Lightning. And then suddenly we had musicals, and I was in the musical band. And it was like, and then it all kind of came from being at school. And my dad was playing gigs too. So I, apart from pretending not to play and then not to play, and then I was actually playing. And then, my first amp, I have to tell you this, my first amp was a PA horn in the 70s, a horn. So I don't know if you've ever seen a horn. It's like this wide. It's just an actually small hole, and the horn comes out like, whoa. So that was a horn. I had that and a massive Fender amp on top, and I used to put my radio through the PA, through the headphones.
Yeah.
Into an amplifier, into the horn. And I think it was just like blew everyone's head off because it was so tinny. It was like, top of the pops kind of
Do you have a photo of this?
I don't have a photo of the horn.
Should be in the Australian Rock Hall of Fame.
I know. What happened to that horn?
It got left behind and we left a lot of stuff. As you do when you immigrate, you leave a lot of stuff behind.
Oh, shit, no.
Yeah. I was allowed to bring a
bad.
Suitcase, and I brought my instruments. Yeah. Underneath my bed there, my granddad's violin and my violin and another violin. Like, it's just like, but so I left a bit about, but the bass became my savior at school. I went from being a dad
the violin
to
wouldn't have, right?
No,
yeah, right,
the violin was not cool.
Shit.
And what sort of bass was it?
It was a Vox bass, very heavy. But can I show you my first bass? I think I've shown it. It's a West Tone. Oh, yes, that was the one I bought, and with real money that I saved up, and West Tone Japanese bass. And then I started playing covers. I just played covers after cover. I didn't know. The funny thing is, I didn't know you could write your own songs.
Oh,
does that sound weird to you?
Yes. No.
I didn't know you could write your own songs. I thought every song was written by somebody else. And whoever that person was, I didn't know them. So I didn't know you could write your own. And then suddenly I was in a band. My dad was in the Musicians Union. And in those days, they had like class, you could kind of go on, you had papers. And somebody contacted my dad and said, it was a female artist, Kerry. And she said, do you know any female bass players? And my dad said, my daughter's a female bass player. So that's my first independent. That's when I realized, you can write your own music. Yeah.
Right.
And then I play with her, and then we lived together in a share house in West End, and then it all fell apart. And then I was always playing covers anyway. And then I got into, again, through classified ads in the old days. We had classified ads.
Yeah.
And it was, someone looking for a bass player. And it was like, oh, I'll give them a call. And you just turn up and you play. And they go, oh, yeah, do you want to play? It's like, that's how I got into bands, classified ads. Yeah. And also in street magazines like Time Off.
Was that okay? Who did you
it was good.
Into?
Yeah, I got into band Natives of Bedlam.
Oh, yeah.
Which is the band. And Prodigal Leap was the first one I got into it.
Yeah.
I tell a lie. Prodigal Leap was a folk band. Kathy Gall on the violin, Gary Shields on the guitar, who played in Pop Properly. And it was just like a really great independent, it wasn't indie, it was folk.
Yeah, right.
Really good songwriting, Gary Shields, Kathy on the violin, and John on the drums. And we had a residency at the Dooley's Hotel every Thursday.
What's that?
It's just down here in the valley.
Okay.
Mr. and Mrs. Dooley's. Every Thursday we used to play.
Was that intense, like the relationships with the band? Like, was it like a new family for you?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it was. And we all learnt. Like, I learnt a lot. When you got a residency.
Yeah, it's great, isn't it? Yeah,
I think that's the key. You really learn.
It's really good.
You learn your crowd. You gather a crowd. You get fans. You get people that turn up every Thursday. You develop your set.
It's so much better than rehearsing.
Yes.
Like actually playing.
You don't have to rehearse if you've got a residency.
Yeah. But there's that difference between rehearsals and gigs. It's just like, it's a million times.
And you had to we did like sets, in those days, the union used to say 40 minutes on, 20 minutes off. I think that was the union rules. And 4 sets, bringing your own PA.
Four sets of original folk music.
I think it was something like, we used to play from, 7 till 11.
Shit. That's a lot.
Maybe that was more my RSL days with Dad. They used to do 4 sets.
Yeah.
Maybe it was a bit smaller for the Dooley's stuff.
But did the natives of Bedlam travel outside of Brisbane? Or?
Oh, Dave, we had our own van. It was called, what was the van called? We had Evan Clary, who was there tonight at the gig, who's a big fan of Leo Kotke, finger-picking guitarist. We had a Van Dam. Remember Van? He was a high kicking.
Jean-Claude.
Jean-Claude.
Belgian waffle.
Yeah, Jean-Claude Van Damme. We used to call it Jean-Claude Band Van. Was our...
So you all smoked a lot of marijuana. Yeah?
That's right.
Where'd you go?
Oh, we went to Byron Bay. We used to do special gigs down there. Mullumbimby. We used special gigs down there too.
Blown a few cones on the way.
We had we went down to Sydney for a few shows. Yeah.
Cool.
That was my first touring gigs.
Great. Yeah.
Claire, your first after the church you were in what? The way
I wasn't in the church, Dave.
You went in the church. Playing in the church.
Not in that band, the church.
Why not? No.
I'll put some text up. Not in the church. You joined a cosmic... I've known you for many decades, Claire, but perhaps, my understanding of it mightn't be right. You joined a cosmic blues band led by 2 fellas, Henry and Patrick, who were obsessed with
Sun Ra. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And you drove, you must have done many gigs. They were called Precious Memories, and you drove to Mount Gambier, where I grew up, for the 1976 eclipse of the sun to play at a festival, an ecliptic festival.
That's right. Well, we drove to Port MacDonald, which was the epicenter. I don't know. There's a word, which is for the best place on
Yeah.
earth to be when the eclipse happened. And we had an
Oh.
ecliptic festival, which was lots of hippie people and
Nice.
tenting.
Oh,
And
like
there was
tenting.
a building that we played in
Mm.
with a roof and shit. And it was a weekend thing. And of course, when the eclipse was about to happen, many people took LSD, I think, and then not me, but me and I think Patrick, maybe Henry, too, went down to the beach at Port Macdonald and watched the lights go.
It's a grim beach.
It's very grim. It's a lot of
Really?
seaweed
It
smells.
must have been October or something.
It was hot. It was warm. It was kind
Oh.
of warm, but the sun just was gone, and all of the flowers went like that. And then when the sun came back, they opened again.
Oh,
That was kind of cool.
that's
The
nice.
lights went on in the town. We were just around the bend a bit, looking back at the town. But it was fun. It was really good.
I said it was October because my friend David Edwards told me just 2 days ago that he was
He went
out in the middle of an oval because it was during the Mount Gambier show, and he was presenting 2 pigs in the middle of the oval. And when the eclipse happened, they started fucking.
Holy shit!
And
Wow.
he was holding them.
Oh, looky them. Looky
Hang on.
pigs.
But no one saw because of the eclipse.
Oh.
So did it actually
Oh.
happen? Did it happen?
Very good.
Yeah.
Very good.
Oh, that's funny.
I don't know.
What was
Sorry.
the drive? Now, does Adele know the horror of playing drums in a blues band? Tell Adele what that involved.
Have you not had to do it? Like the endless songs
The
that
endless
go from
songs.
and you just don't think they're never gonna end.
E-A-D.
And you're just like, oh, and I can't actually play fills, so I'm just gonna have to do this for like
Yeah.
fucking
That's why you have to
45
get stoned
minutes.
or drunk.
Yeah, exactly. I used to drink a lot. I
Yeah.
drank heaps. Somehow I managed to drink while I was playing because
Yeah.
otherwise you would
Well,
be
you've got
sober.
time to.
You would be sober by the end of the song, right?
You've got time to.
Yeah, it was terrible. I mean, I loved them. They were great. And not all the
course they
songs
were
were that
great.
long. It was just some of them, that sort of bluesy thing.
That's where you've got your feet, Claire. You've got you've got feet to play. Because in a bass, you just got to keep the.
Yeah,
You can, I mean, there's ways of doing it, isn't there? You know, like you can keep one hand on the bass string and just keep, dum, 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 and then you can reach out for the string.
Yes, I've known other bass
Yeah.
players to do that. Funnily enough, I think it's a thing. But you know, like, is it worse to do that sort of, bluesy generic, or is it worse to play country and western?
Yeah.
Because that can be sort of
That's
2 notes,
quicker.
maybe 2
Yeah,
notes,
you
but
gotta
it's
be-
quicker.
You got to be like, don't, you got to go with the kick.
Right. So
Well,
don't-
there's a bit more expectation in country music, isn't there?
But was it the sort of thing you learnt from? Even though it was tedious and the guitarist
Well, that's the thing.
get you working the wah-wah for half an hour, did you learn how to hold a groove? Or
I guess so. I mean, I wasn't very good either, so sorry everyone at who I played with, because that was another band where they had some amazing players and other people who were like me too. I guess so. You learn from everything.
Yeah, you do, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, you learn.
And then I learned a lot of back in those days you had to learn, when you learnt drums you had to learn how to play foxtrots and shit like that, which because
Yeah.
people still danced
Yes.
at
Well, that's the thing.
weddings and stuff.
And tempo was very important for
Yeah.
for that, and you
Yeah.
can't speed it. Someone's focused very hard on their dance routine.
Yeah.
And I with my dad's band, we used to do a lot of dances, and you can't mess with the tempo.
No.
And we used to do medleys, so,
medleys of foxtrots.
medleys of a song going into a song going into a song, so you can't mess. It's always the same beat. And if you go,
tell us some of the songs, Adele.
oh Dave, I can't remember.
Come on.
Look, I think
Proud Mary. people play that.
I love the Beatles songs with medleys, but I think a lot of we used to call it teapot dancing, which is terrible. I know we shouldn't call it teapot dancing, but there is a certain type of dance that my dad would say, I said, what have you got? Oh, we're going it's a teapot dance tonight.
What does that
And generally
mean?
it's teapot dancing is like, the dance. It's like, they look like teapots.
Oh.
The men are like that. Oh, yeah,
Women and
right,
men
okay.
look like that. Oh,
Right.
isn't that terrible? I'm going to be in trouble because he might, but he's not, Dad's not gigging anymore.
In South Australia, they called a dance band a 60-40 band.
Yeah.
60-40, yeah. Yes.
In Melbourne, it was 70-30.
Yes, bloody Melbourne.
Yeah, right.
It's 60% old.
I think it was 60% new and 40% old.
Yeah.
I think. I'm pretty sure. I mean, from what I remember, they basically played what were the hits at the time, which was like Creedence, Tom Jones.
Oh, wow, that's trendy.
Engelbert Humperdinck,
Yeah,
all that
right.
shit. And then they would play an old, what would be a foxtrot, the Pride of Erin, I don't know.
Yeah,
that kind of shit, those sort of actual old-fashioned dancing. So.
Yeah. Well, my dad was very much involved in the Irish club in Brisbane, and a lot of it was the Pride of Erin, and a lot of, at the end of the gigs, the Irish, the beautiful Irish band, they're very passionate, and they stand up on the tables and they sang Jerusalem, Jerusalem, dun 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 dun. I've heard in the heart. Like, it was really passionate stuff, and there was this is the thing about the Irish, they never stopped playing. Like, Dad's band just went on for 20, 30 years they were playing,
Right.
They never stopped playing until one would drop dead.
Right.
That's how it was. It was just like they never stopped playing. The band just kept going on. It was called the Green Velvet Irish Show Band.
Right. And so they didn't just do traditional.
They sang all the classics, like I wander today through the hills, Maggie.
Oh, yeah.
You do that, but then let's twist again like we did last summer. And they do all the great Danny Boy, and so beautiful, because of course, who doesn't love an Irish voice? And the Irish voices were pure. Penny whistle, saxophone. There was a Tommy on the drums, Tommy Moran. Dad was on keyboard. Dad had a DX7, so he spent. It was in the 80s, so it was really. They played through the 80s, the 90s, 2000s. They were gigging all the way to the very. And these are the gigs where, in those days, they'd carry their own PA. Yeah. Anyway.
So was it two Irish people, or was
it was 1, 2, 3, 4 Irish people.
were they playing to Irish people, or were they playing?
Yeah, they were playing to Irish people in certain venues like the Irish, and they go to Mount Isa and do the Irish Club.
Yeah.
But they were also playing RSLs.
Right, so it was more. Most people would like that music anyway, I suppose. But
yeah.
Oh, right. Okay.
For either of you, was there ever any dangerous situations in those very first gigs?
Have you ever been in danger, Claire?
At that time, I mean,
the old days, yeah.
I don't know.
Or was it just normal being around drunk people?
Well, I was really used to being around drunk people because I grew up in a pub.
Yeah.
So, I knew how to tell the difference between scary drunk people and just nice drunk people.
You're streetwise.
Hey? Yeah.
Streetwise.
Well, there's a lot of nice people who swear, a lot of nice people who got drunk. And then there were arseholes.
Yeah.
So, or people who were when they drank too much. But anyway, but I don't think so.
Not for me.
I had that terrible experience coming back from the Ecliptic Festival when I got locked in the back of the ute, though.
Oh no.
Claire.
And I had I had to see, we all got in the back of the ute because there wasn't enough cars to get back to Adelaide, and so then they tied down the back roof, the back thing, and
canvas.
the canvas and we couldn't get out.
Mm.
And then I started to freak. That's why I've got claustrophobia now.
That's why when we go in lift,
yeah,
I
that's
don't
why I
tell
freak
you
out in
that-
the lift.
you know, if the lift breaks down, there's no emergency button.
That's why I turned green and started screaming when you said that. Yeah, that's why. And I don't know. I mean, it was a little bit more treacherous back then, just going to gigs. Like I was telling you before, you know, when I saw you'd go to the Marriotttville Hotel in Adelaide, and at the end of the night there was always a punch on, and it just became kind of regular though.
See, I never saw that.
Ending up in the emergency department with someone was kind of common. But you were of that age, and you know, like guys would come and just want to have a fight, you know, and it was just a kind of thing that happened. You got used to it, I guess. I don't think anything terrible apart from that much.
I think the interesting thing about the Valley, which we're in Brisbane at the moment, and I think the interesting thing is that the Valley was less dangerous in the 80s and early 90s, and until they, you know, decided that the Mall, which is where we were playing in the Black Bear Lodge, there used to be a road in Brisbane, and as soon as they closed that off, that used to be a straight road, straight through. And then it turned into a music area, like a entertainment area. Then it became very dangerous.
Yeah, okay.
That's
That's
weird.
interesting, isn't
Yeah,
it?
like it when I never felt any danger in Brisbane until it got very chaotic. And maybe it was the drugs around that time, as you know, the drugs were very probably intense, like I don't know, crack or something. But it's a lot better now. But it did go through a very scary stage. Like people would not go to the Valley to see a band. Well, let's put it this way: less frequently.
Right, but for
I
a
prefer.
long time, it was the only place you could play, though.
Yeah, I know. But I was away for a while too. But I do feel that the Valley was safer when it was just full of pimps, prostitutes, and queers.
Yeah.
You know, it was so
Yeah.
much easier in those days. Anyway, that's a different story.
Just to
Sorry.
finish off,
True.
Oh yeah.
just to finish, could you both tell of a gig or a show you went to see that made you think you would like to do that yourself, to be a musician and play a big show or be in a band?
I think for me, I saw Tracy. I mean, this was a long time ago, but I saw. Oh no, it wasn't Tracy. Hang on. Hang on. Who was it? Dave, you're gonna have to edit this. I'm sorry. Who's that great female artist that is English, but she is, and I've got her records in the.
Tracy Thorn.
No. Let me just.
Sorry. Okay.
Sorry. This is what happens, Dan. I'm not very good at this.
I know.
But
Okay.
I'm just going to have a look. You know?
What about you, Claire?
Oh, okay. I think it would just have to be the first big gig I went to, which was probably the first gig when I was 13, and that was the Rolling Stones at Memorial Drive in Adelaide, because I made my sisters take me. I made my parents make my sisters take me, and it cost $5 to get in, and I had a new Amco jeans outfit.
Wow.
Yeah, it was jumbo cord pink, mushroom pink, not pink, okay, mushroom pink, jumbo cord beanie flares with a denim, a jacket, you know, denim style, same material jacket. Anyway, we went to see the Rolling Stones.
Pink, evil, glamour Rolling Stones.
And Charlie Watts, you know. I just...
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, I mean, back then I just thought, I was thinking I wanted to be in a band with Charlie Watts. So I was thinking I'm going to have to kill Bill
him.
Wyman
Oh.
and play bass. But then eventually I thought, no, actually, I want to play drums. So I just want to play drums like him. And that was the best gig. It was really fantastic. I was very lucky to go to that.
That's lovely.
Are you ready?
Yes,
to go?
I am. And, you know, it's not something that I was going to say, but I've just thought about it as I walked in that room and can think, Phil Collins. I know this might be Phil Collins. No jacket required.
Oh, we're not even talking about Genesis. Oh, my God.
I went to see Phil Collins with my mum. No jacket required at Festival Hall. And I went, that band, you know, I just loved that band.
Who was in the band?
Everybody was in the band.
Really?
It was just the sense of a band.
Oh, okay.
And I really love the idea. I love being in bands. I
Mm.
love playing in bands. Like I'm a team player. I'm not a leader or, you know, I love the collectiveness of a band.
Yeah, it's great.
And when I saw Phil Collins' band, I just wanted to be in his band. And that's why, you know, even if I'm just playing the tambourine, like, you know, or singing or just on stage, but being amongst that energy of being in a band, I love it. I love it. And of course, being a bass player, you know, you can do so much. You can sit back, you can just play E all the way through. You don't have to do too much. And then if you want to, you can bring it forward and play a little bit more. But you don't have to. I love being a bass player because you can really just sit back and enjoy the music. It's like Dave's doing hot licks there, you know, like always. Dave's playing like amazing guitar, and I just watch you. I just watch you.
Foot on the monitor.
Yeah, and it's just like, and Claire, and it's like, I'm just enjoying being in. I love it. It's like to be in a band. You're at the front row seat.
Yeah.
And you are just taking in every magical moment, and you're actually in it, but you're actually observing it at the same time. And I love it. You know, I love being in a band. That's my favorite place to be. And I think when you talk about being on stage and feeling comfortable, I'm uncomfortable because I love being in a band and being on the energy and just absorbing. You know, I don't care. You know, sometimes you play the wrong note, whatever. You get over it. Keep moving on.
It's the only place you can get a bit of peace and quiet.
Absolutely. And you might get whatever else comes with it.